Hello guys, it's Airsick Hydra here and welcome back to another video with me. Today we're going to be giving some feedback and some much needed criticism toward the game. That's right, I'm not just here to give namby-pamby White Knight, look how great it is advice. I'm also here to do the hard work, put in the graft, and tell you guys about what's currently lacking from the game and what I think is going to be needed to make this game compete with those big boy ARPGs like Diablo and Path of Exile. Grab yourself a cup of tea, get a cup of coffee, some biscuits, buckle up, we're about to have a little bit of a rant, okay? Awesome, so let's get started. The reason for this rant is that Inquisitor Martyr, or Neocore rather, have set themselves a very high goal of having hundreds of hours of replayability in the game and lots of content. Okay, so this sounds pretty promising, but what this means is not only do they have to have the content for hundreds of hours, they also need to hold our attention for this amount of time as too. And with that needs to come a lot of variation. Variation is key in order to keeping us entertained. The problem I have is we go into a mission at the moment and we get these wonderfully crafted maps which are randomized, and basically it means you'll be walking in different directions on similar tile sets. We then walk around the map a little bit. We notice enemies are in different places and there's different types of enemies, and this is also rather nice. It helps make it feel a little bit unique each time. As well as that, the traps on the map, the cover on the map, it's all fairly randomly allocated, so each time you're placed on a map it feels somewhat unique. But here's the problem. No matter where you place the enemies on the map, we still have the issue of there being slow moving melees, big slow moving melees, and ranged units that either stand still and shoot you or walk towards you and then stand still and shoot you. Thus far in the game there is no variance in terms of playstyle, which I think is currently a huge issue. Now, for many people currently enjoying the game, they may not even be thinking about this right now, but in 100 hours time, in 200 hours time, are you still going to be having fun moving and shooting and kiting enemies in a very almost scripted way? This, I think, needs to be addressed, and I would say that Neocore likely have some ideas already for this. They've likely got some stuff up their sleeve, but I want to throw it out into the ether now that I think this is a little bit of a problem if it's not addressed. Now, let me talk to you about other ARPGs and what they've done to counter this. Now, we'll go to the traditional Diablo 3 Path of Exile. We've got elite units and champions with a number, depending on the difficulty, of mutations which are each very specifically designed to change your playstyle or put your playstyle at a disadvantage. So for example, you may have a mortar that forces you to move around a little bit more. You may have walls which make your ranged attacks redundant and make you have to relocate to do more damage. You may have thorns that prevent you from doing too much damage in melee, making you have to kite the enemy a little bit in between doing damage. You may have arcane bolts and lightning bolts, etc., making you move around and dance a little bit more. But the combination of these allows for thousands of potential combinations and makes a player have to learn something as they go. It presents you with new challenges and obstacles to overcome. Now, I'm not saying Inquisitor Martyr has to do this. Definitely not. But this is one example, and I have to say it's a very good example of what can be done in an ARPG in order to make a player's experience feel continually challenged and continually fresh and new. Eventually you will get used to playing against all of these various bonuses and mutations if they did implement it, but it takes a long time before you feel comfortable with every combination, and you will never play them frequently enough to feel truly comfortable. Now, there are other options too. We could just give more of the enemies some abilities. We could go with more grenades that we have to dodge. There are a couple, but there's not a lot. You could go with some different enemy types, some fast-moving enemies. Some enemies that put walls up, some enemies that do AoE damage when you're close to them, etc, etc. It could be something not necessarily champion-related, but could just be unit-related if they have sufficient enemy unit types. Another example of a game going away from the ARPG genre, which could potentially work for this, but this is just to throw ideas out there, is a game like Left 4 Dead. That only has zombies and 4 other enemy types. There's not a lot of variety there, but it turns the players into the random elements in a really clever way. You have to rely on teammates to help you out of situations when you get pounced on or CC'd, etc. And so how you deal with that particular situation then and there at that moment becomes a random variable because you're a human being. So forcing co-op interactions is another way that you can also produce what feels to be a fresh random experience that is perpetually being challenged and, well, basically making you learn and adapt as you go. Guys, this has been a fairly short video, but for me this is a big issue at the moment. There are random features to the maps, and they do feel good. Now, it may be the case that neocore thinks that the current, or rather future, fortress system's going to be enough. Maybe they're going to put it all on boss fights. But I would make the argument here that if this is all we're going to get in terms of grinding missions, this is going to get repetitive pretty quickly, and players are going to resent having to do missions in order to get to the quote-unquote fun stuff like boss fights, etc. So I would say something needs to be done to make this feel a little bit more random. Now, we were told that there are some form of champions being implemented. Right now it's not entirely clear if these are the guys that are simply sat there barking orders at their units to stand still and shoot you, or walk towards you and shoot you. We don't really know. In fact, we don't know a lot about what's coming. I would say I have complete faith. Even though I think the gameplay at the moment is really good and solid, albeit very repetitive, I do have faith, and I think you guys should too. But what I would like down in the comments down there is for you guys to leave your thoughts regarding the current mission system. Are you going to be happy after 20 hours of playing this, 30 hours, 40 hours? Are the current missions satisfactory? Are you getting bored? Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you find it useful, and devs, if you're listening, I hope you find it useful too. Can't wait to hear what you have to say. See you down in the comments. Bye guys.